As we've been gradually building out our downtown district, you, the community, keeps raising one glaring issue. Why haven't we got any downtown stadiums? So today I'll be answering many of your prayers as we add a significant residential and commercial expansion, add a brand new sports school, add in some new transit lines, and, of course, the thing you've all been asking for, a stadium. Or maybe two. Welcome back to Fewladelphia. So before we dive into our stadium build, which is going to sit on the waterfront just over here, I do just want to fill in some of these empty blocks that we left a couple of episodes ago along our existing waterfront here. Now this section is going to be a mix of kind of commercial based and residential. I'm thinking more mixed use and commercial up against this main avenue here, and then more residential as we head towards the back of the block, which is going to be opposite our big central park, which will fill these two spaces over here. Now, in terms of height, I don't want to take away from our central business district, but there are a few skyscrapers that I would like to put in here. So the first one is a mixed use one, the Docklands Tower from the Skyscrapers Content Creator Pack. Let's just get Anarchy on here. Now, this one I was definitely saving for the waterfront. It's not too tall, so you can kind of see the height comparison between that and the Imperial State Building and the ABC Broadcasting Towers over there. So it's not too tall, but it also has these wonderful balconies and a pool area, which very much lends itself to being on a waterfront, I think. So if we just place that in and then use Move It to switch this around a little bit, I want to line it up into the block nicely. We do also have this pedestrian overpass, which I'm going to keep in here because I think we can add it in quite snugly up to the side of the building, something like that. Now just realising actually before we place this, let's just delete this section of path here. And then we can go ahead and place it in. I want it as far away from this road as possible, but not so far that it disconnects. So somewhere about there is going to be about right, I think. Then we'll just make sure it's nicely lined up and snug into that overpass, that side. Something like that will be pretty good. Now here, I do want to extend out this entrance into the car park across the pavement here to make that a little bit more realistic. Now there is an upgrade to this, I do realise that, which is the fire headquarters that goes underneath. Maybe at some point we might add that, but I think for the moment we don't really need it. We actually have a fire headquarters right here, so it's not too far away. And I do quite like the fact that we get a parking lot underneath this building. So if we take the G87 vanilla asphalt surface under markings here and we just upgrade this surface to that, it's a very similar colour, the normal asphalt, to what we've already got here. And then what we want to do is extend this out onto the road, so that sort of extends this driveway area out across this side. And because we've got the lamppost there, I'm actually, instead of deleting that, just going to make it a little bit easier by only extending that section here. In fact, actually, we might do something similar this side. But that isn't too bad. So with these surfaces, there's one that goes over the markings. So if I just upgrade it to that, you can see those yellow lines are hidden. But I actually quite like them. So we're going to do the one that's under markings. And then there is ground only as well. So this one, for example, wouldn't go over the pavement here. So this is a great little pack. If you haven't got it, really useful for doing things like this sort of driveway detailing here. And then what we can do is actually extend those yellow lines. So if we come into our net lanes, we can find a single yellow line right here. We're going to have to turn off snapping for this. And then we can just extend it out towards the road. Straight as we possibly can by eye. Yeah, that's not too bad. Of course, we still have the big curve there, which is kind of annoying. We could, if we wanted to make this super duper realistic, just get a small piece of alleyway road and add that in here, because then that gets rid of that curved network. And in fact, we probably should have done that before we did any of the markings detailing there, because that still looks a little bit strange, but I'll tidy it up later. And then I do just want to kind of add back in this pedestrian path. So I think what we're going to do is utilise this section of walkway around the building here and just use invisible pedestrian paths to connect this up. And then we'll grab the regular pavement here and just make sure we've got a crossing in at that node where the lanes change there. I think that makes a bit of sense. And we can tidy up some more of the surfaces around it in just a second. But yeah, there we go. We have got our first little skyscraper in there. And there is another one I do want to use as well, which is the Emerald Tower from the Skyscrapers Content Creator Pack. Again, another mixed use here. It's got a really nice change in height, this asset. And I definitely think we want the lower part towards the waterfront with the higher part behind it. So perhaps we'll put it in there. and then we can fill in some more buildings around that in that block, in that space. But again, another really nice sort of tall building, but not too tall. It's going to take away from that central area. And then I have a building off the workshop, which is this One North First Tower. Really, really like this. Again, it's another mixed use building, so will sit quite nicely, I think, on our waterfront here. If we place it in like this. So this is the One North First Right MTTHI. You can find that on PDX mods. And it's got this beautiful little pool area right next to it. So another reason why I just think this would be really nice for a bustling commercial mixed use waterfront here. So I think that's the main points of height, points of interest, I suppose, we want along our waterfront here. And just kind of zoom out and see how this looks from elsewhere. Having that Docklands Tower there really sort of extends that skyline out in that left-hand direction when we're looking from Oregon Point over here. And as we scan across the city, you can just see that the other two towers that we've got there, the Emerald Towers and One North First, just kind of break that down in height. Now here, there is a big gap where our central park is. Now there will be buildings behind it that will sort of fill that out, but I don't want that to look too sparse and empty. So I think when it comes to these blocks, we will do some more taller buildings along the edge of our central park here, kind of balance out actually some of the pretty tall skyscrapers we've got on this side. Not quite as tall as this, but some pretty sizable buildings here. But for that, we'll just use some more regular sized zoned buildings. So let's go ahead and get these blocks along here filled out. And I'm not going to be doing anything too special with them. There'll be some back alley detail and every space will be detailed and filled. But it's not going to be anything particularly special, inventive, or out of the box. But just before we do that, a quick word from today's video sponsor, which is Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is your one-stop shop for all of your gaming needs, with hundreds of games at huge discounted prices. You can currently find Corsair Cove at a 44% discount, if you fancy your hand at a pirate city builder game. And of course, if you're looking to pick up any of the Cities Skylines franchise DLCs, Instant Gaming has you covered. There's currently a massive 44% discount on base game Cities Skylines II if you haven't yet picked that up. So if you're a gamer like me and you want to try out one of the latest titles but don't want to pay full whack, or you're just looking for something cozy and new to play, check out Instant Gaming via my link in the description of this video, and it also helps to support this channel. Okay, so we have ourselves an actual waterfront here. So just to scan through briefly what we've done, I added this little block over here which has this Wells Fargo asset, which is by Detective93 on PDX Mods. I love this. So good. Beautifully designed. Really kind of feels like an influential building there on the corner opposite our transit hub plaza over here, which is getting a little bit more use, I would say. You can see there's a few people moving around here now. People waiting at the tram stops, which also are getting more use. We're going to come back to transit a little bit later in this episode because we're going to do a lot of expansion of that. So what I really wanted was this space to be a bit more of a kind of almost shopping mall area. So we do have that office building on the corner. Then we've got the activity plaza, commercial unique building here with some pedestrian roads running in between. And then I forget the name of this one from the Supply Chains Content Creator Pack, the Brand and Lifestyle Centre over here, which I've just recoloured a little bit. I thought that was a nice statement piece, which will go on the corner of our central park over there. And we have a little dog park to fill out this awkward space on this corner. I've used a bit of the surface textures here just to rough up some of the road textures. I do like the idea of having dirt alongside the edges of the roads. I kind of miss that ruined texture actually from CS1. It did add a lot more to roads, just having that tiny little bit of sort of rough and tumble around the edges of our roads. So then over here we do have a little residential block here using some of the classic northeastern US buildings. Got a little dirty alleyway back there. We won't look at that. Then we come on to some mixed use shop fronts. And I've done lots of little bits in the middle here. So we've got some parking there, little bits of trash decals, some stains, that sort of thing. And then basically just tidied up surfaces in and around a lot of these buildings. This is another asset from PDX Mods. This is the Bartlett building by McWelshman. Gorgeous, gorgeous asset. Really, really nice corner asset. Very grand entrances here. Love this. And again, we've just kind of made sure all the surfaces make sense around the buildings. And then here actually we have used some more PDX Mods assets. We've got the Vancouver set by Smiley's, Vancouver Condo Packs. We've also got the Royal Wharf Flats by MTTHI. And we just fused some of those in together just to create this little complex there. And we have the hotel where I've just switched up some of the surfaces and I thought I had deleted this hedge. I can't seem to get the anarchy part working. The bit where you can say just stay like that. Maybe I forgot to use it on that. I'm not too sure. Yeah, we just extended the entranceways over the pavement here, so that makes it a little bit more realistic. Added in a few little net lanes to frame off those roadways, those driveways into the front of the hotel. And then again, some more residential back here. I have slotted in quite a few little underground parking lots here and there as well, just to make sure we're making the most of these back alleys. You see there's another one back here too. And again, just more residential buildings with the commercial mixed use focused along this main avenue out the front here. Got a little playground slotted into this one. And then similarly over here, exact same thing, just some back alleys with some side parking. And then we come onto a little complex with the Vancouver Condos pack again, and some of Sully's brickwork assets actually. Really like these, a nice modern brick take along this area. Oh, and then we did slot in this gorgeous little gas station asset, which is from El Gando. I love this. Really works quite well for a sort of downtown area. I see quite a few of these around the city that is closest to me at least. And they're just slotted onto side streets like that. So yeah, like that. And it's quite nice and close to the main avenue here as well if people needed to stop off from a longer journey. But yes, I have left this little piece here clear because we're going to add some transit into there a little bit later on. But before we do that, I wanted to look at this space because I was actually having a look at some stats. And our education, we are failing high schoolers quite significantly at the moment. In fact, we've got about almost 4,000 people that don't have spaces, well, that are eligible, but we don't have enough capacity for, which is pretty mad. So I thought maybe we could turn this space here into a bit of a high school complex. And then I've also got another idea where we can add more high school capacity. And actually, if we just flick back here just for a second, our elementary is okay. It's on the line. We could probably do with another one. And college and university are both okay. We are going to need a new university very soon, which is exciting. That will be happening. If you've got ideas of where you would like that to be situated, let me know. I was thinking this space was going to be really just huge amounts of row house sprawl with a few little peaks in height for some more tower blocks and some low rent buildings and that sort of thing. We're going to have a huge park along this space here as well. So I don't really know where the university should go. I don't know if there's necessarily an obvious place. It could sit somewhere out here, like right on the main waterfront, so it's still close-ish to the downtown, but not completely integrated within it. I mean, there are other options. We could do, a big sprawling sort of campus over this side, potentially, as well. There's tons of room around the map. Let me know what you think in the comments. But I digress, so let's focus on the high school for now. So I'm going to actually use this modern high school building. It has a capacity of 1,750, but we can add more to that if we want to as well. The other big high school is the Netherlands one, but we've actually already used that in the downtown over here. And there's also only a limited amount of upgrades that you can actually add to that. So I think we're going to go for this modern one, which also feels like it's a little bit more campus-based to fill out this space quite nicely. So I think maybe we add the main building somewhere over here. Probably quite like to get a road in so that we can snap that to it. So perhaps something like that. And then if we have a little look at the upgrades, so we've got a mindfulness room, which doesn't increase student capacity, but does improve health and well-being of students. I like the idea of that. And it also adds these nice little wings onto the side, so we'll have that. Then we do have student dormitories. I'm not actually a big fan of these. They actually feel a little bit sort of almost Chinese style. I wouldn't say it's necessarily spot on modern architecture. And then we also have these, which are additional teaching buildings, which increase it by 1,000, which I think is what we're going to want here. So we've got 1,700 in there. We need 4,000. So, yeah, it's going to be a push. But I think we can add a couple of these in, at least. I might add another one over here, if we can get walking access to it. But I do want to have some kind of sports field in here too. But the other idea I had was to also incorporate another high school, so the City High School. We could kind of add this in as part of the complex, perhaps. Because this has a capacity of 800, but then we can also upgrade it by another 400, so that gives us 1,200 and 2,750. So that's 3,950. So we're getting close to that 4,000 mark between these two high schools here. Now let's just see about getting another additional teaching building here, because adding 1,000 capacity is really, really valuable to this. So like I mentioned, I do want to add in a sports field into here somehow if we can. I mean, that's too big. This one could fit. Or it could even be across the street, so we kind of make this entire area the campus. That could certainly work. Then if we come back to our main building, we could definitely add in a couple more of these for sure. Perhaps something like that. I'm wondering if we can get some more sports fields in here, like maybe a baseball decal, if we've got one that is small enough. We don't, but we do have these mini pitches by Algendo again, which I think we can make work. We need some nice surfaces around them, something to that effect. And then we probably just want to get some parking in and add a little bit of landscaping. And that is shaping up a little bit better. I did decide to add a gas station onto this corner too, and we've got a lot of open grass around it. I need to try and do that more. So I have done here. Now I'm thinking that this is going to be a sports orientated high school. I did also add the sports upgrade onto the city high school area here too, so yeah, definitely a sports orientated high school, and I have decided to give it a name as well. So this is going to be the Lucara High School, in honour of Patreon Lucara. Thank you so much for the support. And if you're keen to have things named after you and help support the channel, there are ways to do that linked in the description of this video. But one of the best ways you can support is to drop a like and a comment, so if you have enjoyed what you've seen so far, why not just hit that thumbs up right now? So we do have this tram stop which is serving the high school. I do also want to add subway down here. Now I did say I'd bring the subway out towards the art museum. I'm not entirely sure where we're going to add that, but I did wonder if we could have some kind of subway interchange with the tram here. Potentially in this block, which is why I left this clear. I mean, if I don't put it here, then we'll just turn this into a very small city park area. Or we could utilise this space here. But I do think as well, because this is quite a main road here coming off the oval about across this side, that it would be worth having some kind of pedestrian crossing. And I actually downloaded of PDX mods these spiral underpass assets. So it'd be an underpass rather than a bridge, which I feel like at this location is probably quite appropriate. So if we just stick in 2 of these now, just to show you, this is from Intrinsica, the spiral underpass mod. If we just add both of these in, I'm hoping I can move them without interfering with the path bit that's underneath. But I quite like them pretty much up against this main road like that. And then we should be able to just grab a path if we head underground and just connect up these 2 sections like that, which seems to work. So now if we do remove these crossings here, and maybe we'll get rid of that light as well. Let's see if anyone takes it. Oh, we got someone going in. We go to underground view. Oh, look, we can see them going down the stairs. That is so cool. Through the underpass. Yes, and someone else is. Okay, this is a really nice mod. Absolutely love this. They're going to pop up over here. Hopefully. There they are. Wonderful. Wonderful. I love that. We probably could have had a bridge. There's no reason why we couldn't, but I just wanted to test this out. And that works. An absolute charm. So let's just take a quick look at our education stats now, and we're alright. We've got 2,000 extra capacity on high school. We are getting close on elementary and college and university, so more of that to come. And we still do have a lot of blank spaces around the edge of the downtown, but we'll keep chipping away at those, and particularly the Central Park as well. I do want to come onto that sometime soon too and fill that out really nicely. But for now, let's park that and let's head on over to what is going to be our brand new stadium district. So many of you have been begging me to get a stadium into the downtown, and of course it was always going to happen. Even though it does feel like everyone's forgotten about our wonderful custom-built, handmade Lopo stadium over here in Fishers Point. That was a labour of love. But even so, as Lopo Point is football, soccer, for you Americans out there, and we have taken inspiration for most of our downtown from North American cities, I thought it would be very appropriate to have an NFL team over here. So I'm kind of thinking across the city we'll have different stadiums for different sports. That'll be the stadium for the main city team for that sport. So for example, that is the Fewladelphia football team, and this will be the Fewladelphia North American football team. So my idea for this area is very much to have a continuation of the theme that we've got along our downtown here. So this space was once industrial waterfront, industrial ports, shipping all of that cargo to and from the massive ocean. Or I like to think this extends out to an ocean somewhere. I can't see land in the background, but either way, it was once an industrial port and it's been converted and changed uses over time. So one of the sports teams has come in and taken over this space. So that's the theming that I do want to go with, but of course first I want to get in our stadium, and we're actually going to be using the Lincoln Financial Field, which is the stadium from Philadelphia. Incidentally, we actually took inspiration from for our football team, our Lopo stadium over there. And this is by GIGABYTE, available on PDX mods. And yeah, I really love this stadium. I think it's brilliantly done. I think it fits what we want here as well. I also love the fact that when I snap it to the road here, nice and straight, it's actually got a really nice angle that sort of complements the fact that we've got this bridge coming off over it in this direction too. So I just think the whole thing works. Now I'm going to have to do a bit of land reclamation around these, but let's just go ahead and get our stadiums in for the time being so we can know where everything is going to sit. So we'll place that one in here. And yes, we are just going to snap it to this internal road that comes down to the harbour down there. And we're coming up a bit of a slope here as well, so we need to, we need to do a little bit of a sorting out of that as we go on. But for now, that'll do. Now, the important thing here is I'd actually like to not only have one stadium, but I think let's have two. If we take a look at where the Lincoln Financial Field is actually situated in Philadelphia, I mean, this surface parking, yeah, we're not we're not going to be replicating the same kind of size and scale of that at all. We don't have the space for it, and it's kind of boring, let's face it. But yes, as you would imagine, lots of surface parking. It's quite near the water as well. But we do also have a baseball stadium over here, Citizens Bank Park. And we also have, I think it's basketball. Please tell me if I'm wrong. It doesn't actually say on Google Earth, and granted I haven't actually researched this too hard. So in the spirit of taking inspiration from Philly for a lot of what we've done, I think we're going to do that here too. So we do have Oracle Park by DM Scopier, this baseball stadium here, which is pretty cool, to say the least. And I think I'd like to position this on the same kind of section of industrial waterfront that we're going to have out here. Maybe at a slightly different angle. I'm thinking maybe we point the stadium something like this. If we had a road that was sort of parallel to this one along there, we could snap that quite comfortably to it. Something like that. And then we can use the space in between to fill this out with a huge amount of surface parking. But let's just sort out this terrain because it's looking quite nasty at the moment. And I also realise we're actually on a bit of a hilltop here on our map. So we're quite high up off the water's surface, so it may not be necessarily ideal from that perspective. We might just need to reduce that height down a little bit, but I'm thinking something along those lines in terms of the shape. This sort of mirrors that edge on the baseball stadium there. Then we can just bring this in across this way, nice and smooth. Now I'm also going to get rid of this whole island here, which is a bit of a shame, yes. Getting rid of some natural features from the map, but it just kind of is in the way, and where we've extended downtown out quite far into this water, it's just a little bit too close for comfort now. Now I'm also aware there was lots of feedback on the video where I put the bridges in that this should actually be on a landmass. So I think what I'm actually going to do here is extend this sort of waterway out here and just bring it out round the side. I'm just going to put that in as a reminder, and what I will do is sort that out later. I think we'll just have pure concrete base there. We can keep these Forum of the Arts buildings in here and then just wrap keys around it and keep it kind of plain and blank and empty there, almost as if this was an existing warehouse as this part of the harbour there. And I do also think as well, we're also going to flatten a couple more of these islands. I'm going to keep this larger one because I think that's quite nice and could be used as a nature reserve or something to that effect. But these ones are going to go. And then we're also going to need to delete these trees. I think that just looks a little bit cleaner around the waterfront there. Now I'm conscious about this pillar as well, so when we come to do the island we'll do a bit of sorting out like that. I might just put it on its own sort of mound, or maybe extend this island out slightly to be underneath it. That could be a nice idea there, but we'll come back to that one. Now in addition to this, we are going to have a third stadium. Yes, you asked for one, we've now got three. You could even say four if we include the Lucara High School there, which I also think is definitely like the feeder high school for the NFL Fewladelphia League, for whatever our team's going to be called. Let me know. What shall our team be called? What shall our stadium be called here in Philadelphia? So we're also going to add in the Ice Fake Arena here, which could easily be basketball or ice hockey or anything, really. And I think it would be quite nice actually having it here quite close to the convention centre. So I'm just going to place it in there. I need to check what the deal is. Yeah, we do have some parking here, so perhaps if we actually align that up to this junction here, that might look a little bit better, and then we can just use the little old trick of grabbing an alleyway road, snapping this into the middle there just so that we get an actual junction, and then we'll just want to use a little bit of no controller here to tidy this up. So there's a lot to be done around that, and we will come back to that. In the next episode, we're going to be building out this entire area here, which is going to have a ton of stuff in, so look out for that sometime soon. But for now, we're going to focus on our stadiums over here. So I have just tested putting in this piece of road to see how high these quay walls would be if we kept it at the height that the stadium is. So it's going to be quite a jump up from our low docks over there, but in part, I actually think that's kind of realistic. Because you would imagine different sized ships docking here, and this being the largest part of this old dock, it could have been, you could have said it would be for the larger container ships and such. I mean, this is, yeah, it's too tall, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to have to sink this down just a touch. I feel like that looks okay, so we can go for that height. We just need to now smooth everything out to align to that. And now we're going to go ahead and get our roads in around our stadiums. So that is that. We've just kind of wrapped this one in roads, and then actually on the Oracle Stadium we've just used some alleyway roads to connect in some of the sort of service area and small parking lots that we've got around the back of it, so it makes a little bit more sense. And we do just have a very simple entrance onto our highway here. I kind of think that'll be okay because these aren't technically functional stadiums. Would be lovely if we had that ability in the game to actually have live matches here and have that flood of traffic, but for the time being they're essentially just commercial shops, commercial buildings, so there shouldn't be that much traffic that warrants having any kind of major intersection here. Now I do want to add transport in, of course, and we need to do our quay walls here as well, but I do just want to take a look at the parking before we do that. So diving back into Google Earth, here we are back in the same place in Philadelphia again. And what I do notice is there's quite a lot of parking lots that are very sort of, I mean, they're different colours to start off with, but they're also very kind of blocky, so they look like they've been put in at different times. We've got an absolutely massive one over here, and this is a little bit more uniform, but it kind of looks like a Cities Skylines road with grass and trees. So I think in our space we're going to do something similar, and I'm actually just going to use car parking lots for quite a bit of it, just to plop in some blocks that are sort of similar to this, especially around the trees, around the roads. But there is also quite a lot of green in here, actually, surprisingly. It's not just one big concrete slab. We've got a lovely row of small trees up alongside the Lincoln Financial Field here. There's various bits of green in and around the stadium, and yeah, lots of tree-lined roads here and around the car parks. So the car park that would be perfect for this, I mean, we could use a few different sizes here. We've got a regular lot there, we've got a large lot, but we also have a very large one. And actually two of these would fit quite perfectly into this space here. And then we can have a road running up in between them as well. We already have the trees on them. We've even got gates. I mean, the gates are maybe a little bit much. We could do a bit of better bulldozing there. And I definitely think I want to get rid of the fences and have it look a little bit more like surface parking here. And we could put in another one back to back, I think, over this side. I think we could just about squeeze that in. Round about there, which would make that one a little bit bigger, but we do need to get road connection to that, and perhaps we could even do something similar here, have this big double block of these parking lots, which frankly just makes it a little bit easier for us getting it in as well. If we just go like that, I have got this problem here, so we need to fix this. And because we haven't got our keys in, which is why I'm leaving that till pretty much the last thing, we can just shifty this over just a little bit. And that actually works really nicely for us keeping a bit more of a secure yard over here, where it definitely looks like either player or delivery entrances across this side. I love this stadium. GIGABYTE's done a fantastic job of that old bottle that you see in the real life location. I won't mention the brand. Then yes, we can have a road again running right through the centre of these. And then we do want to fit in some more parking, I think, down this side, but this might need to be some more custom style parking. So we've still got quite a few more spaces to fill out. I think, like I said, this will be some kind of yard fulfillment or delivery depot, team entry and parking, that sort of thing. But I do also want to incorporate transit, of course, into our massive stadium area. So the first obvious one is trams. So we have our trams running along our waterfront here at the moment. We can see that on our lovely view here. This pink line that probably turns a little bit too sharply in there. The other thing with this is we could take this line here, extend it down this road, cut across here and up this street, which can then stop at the stadium district and head on out in this direction, or even actually tunnel under potentially and serve this district here, because ultimately we're going to want a lot more trams around our city centre. They're our main short distance transit. So I'd like to have a tram stop, I think, somewhere here, because we can utilise this empty green space to bring the tram line up and not interfere with the actual road that we have here. So I think just a single station like this will probably do, and probably somewhere near this crossing would be a good idea. So round about there. And now we can grab our tram tracks and trail this back to our tram station. And this little junction over here turned out way more fiddly than I thought it was going to be, and I think it's worked out okay. We're crossing traffic on the tram, which is far from ideal. So maybe when I come to the stadium I might rearrange this road a little bit so that's not the case, but we'll see. Now we can just get in a little route here. So our purple one currently goes in there. I wonder if we could actually just re-divert it when it comes back out to come and stop over here. And then rather than doing a horrific U-turn, we'll bring you back into this terminal and then you can go out and on in the other direction again. So I think for now that'll work. We're going to completely redo the trams anyway in a few episodes time, probably, when we come to work on this space over here. More will be revealed. But that gives us a tram stop at our stadium. Now the other transit that I would like to do here is subway. So we do actually have a subway station. Can we go underground? There we go. Right here, which has a line pointing off in this direction. So having a stop or a station somewhere here, I think would be a really good thing. And then we could probably bring it above ground, I reckon, around this area. So I think having a stop or a station somewhere in this area would be a really good thing. So we go to Subway. We have got the standalone Subway interface from Bad Peanut, which is on PDX mods. You do need to have city stations in order to download this. But this one can actually fit into this space. It seems a little bit weird, but if I place it in here and we shift it over and spin it around like this, it's going to say it's not connected to the road, but it will be. We can slot it in quite nicely there. We just need to trim back the hedge a touch and sort out the front of it. But that, I think, will work nicely in comparison to where this stop and station is over here. So let's grab our subway tracks. I'm just going to bring them around like that and connect into here for the moment. Now, do we have a subway line going into this one? We do, yes. So we can extend out the red line out to this station here. And then we just want to make sure we've dropped in a stop on the other side, which we have there. Now, this reminds me, actually, a few of you did say that we didn't actually have a stop at the end here on our ships, and that's why we weren't getting cruise passengers. Are we still not? Let me just check. Okay, that's the one between towns. This line, it would appear we only have one stop. So did I not actually stop it here? Did I just do a waypoint? Is that what happened? Yeah. You're absolutely correct. Okay, so maybe that'll sort it out. I'm going to come back and check that later in this episode. But now the other thing I'd like to incorporate is actually train as well. So because this is, or used to be, a big industrial harbour, there definitely would have been trains coming into here at some point to drop off cargo for some of those big ships. And with this being the largest part of it, I definitely think that would have happened here. So what we could say is that we add in a train line and it's been converted to a passenger line since the change in use to this space. But it was based on the old line that was here for the cargo harbour. And Eggsy in our Discord, we had a little stream over there. We're doing a bit of planning. Head on over to the Discord if you haven't already. We've just hit 1,000 of you wonderful people in there. There's a link in the description of this video if you want to come and join us. But yes, Eggsy suggested we have a small compact rail yard in this space, so we could actually use that to loop the line around here, around the edge of the stadium and out in this direction, which I really like the idea of. We also have this rail line coming in here, which is going to run on out and round onto this island eventually, but it could definitely also have a spur that comes around the stadium and back into just a very small rail yard. It will ultimately be in that space. So let's try that. And for that, we're just going to use the small station. I don't think we need anything particularly fancy here. There's not really the space for anything much bigger, so that'll do pretty nicely. We'll grab our double train track and we're just going to loop this around the stadium and see if we can get it across our road, the tram track under the bridge and round here. This may be tricky. So let's see what awaits us now. That's interesting. Can a tram line not intersect a rail? No. It would appear they cannot. In that case, what we might have to do here is upgrade this to a really small section of road with tram tracks. Which does work, and then I think what we want to do is just make this smaller, so let's just cut it back to there. And then we could try and create a super node. Oh, has it already done it? I think it actually might have done. Well, that's good. It's a little bit dodgy, and this is really bad, so it needs some tidying up, but it can work. It could work. Okay, so that is all hooked in. And then we could go ahead and add in a line to get some trains moving to and from there. Both of our lines at the moment are just going that way. So again, we're going to have to rethink train transit at some point as well. But for the moment, we can just have essentially a shuttle backwards and forwards between these two stations. And it's saying we don't have any vehicles for that, so we may as well just go and add the semblance of our rail yard right now, but we're not going to be doing this actually today. There's been a lot going on in this episode already, so we will be coming back to this rail yard in the next episode. But for now, we can just place this nice small terminal rail yard round about there and hook in our line. And that should get rid of the no vehicles warning. Let's just check. Brilliant. Alright, so I think that just leaves us with a lot of tidying up around here. Like I said, I'm going to come back to this rail yard and the Ice Flake Arena in the next episode along with more of this district, but for the moment we're just going to concentrate on our Stadium Peninsula and getting this looking lovely and finished. Alright, so we have our stadiums in and a little bit of detailing around them, and our car parks are filling up really quite nicely. Not having enough parking in the downtown is certainly paying off when it comes to all of this surface parking out here. Loving that. So yeah, I've just done a little bit of landscaping around each of the buildings, really kind of light detailing. Added in a little gas station, some commercial outlets here. I thought that was a nice touch on the edge of all of this car parking. We've got a little backstage private team area over in this space next to those warehouse doors on the back of the stadium. Added in a ton of food trucks all the way around, a nice big walkway up here as well against the car park that people can access as they're going to and from the stadium. And then yeah, just dirtied up some of these car parks. So I'm imagining this is the older one, where the asphalt's a bit newer on this one, but people definitely, when it's not match day, come in here and use it to practice their donuts. The pesky boy racers of Fewladelphia, it would seem. So yeah, I actually decided not to really touch the surfaces around the Lincoln Financial Field Stadium here. I thought they kind of quite nice already, and it's all very new and clean looking in comparison to the car parks, at least over there. So yeah, quite enjoying that. Just added in a load more food trucks around the edge, so we get that semblance of a nice busy stadium area, similar to the Oracle Park Stadium as well. We do need names for both of them, so get your suggestions into the comments below, and also the Ice Lake Stadium, which we'll come on to next time. But yeah, that was pretty much it. And then we did just do exactly what we did on this pier, really, over here. We extended this out underneath this bridge and just key-walled it off with some nice dirty decals on there too. So next time we'll be coming onto this district over here, getting in our actual little mini rail yard and our Ice Lake Stadium. And then we'll be coming on to more of this area and this big district out here, which I've got some grand plans for. There's a few things missing around our downtown that definitely need to be incorporated. But for today, that is going to be it. If you have enjoyed the episode, likes, comments and shares are really greatly appreciated. And so much love to all of my Patreon and YouTube member supporters out there. You are all fantastic. But that's all from me for now. I'll catch you again next time. Bye bye.